Welcome everybody to this session with Chris Janssen on artificial intelligence. Of course, it's the topic of the moment. Everybody's talking about it, wondering about it, wondering how we can apply it in our own work and in our own life. Imagine you're a small farmer and in your pocket you've got your own extension worker, able to integrate up-to-date information about your particular farm, your species of animals, how to manage them, what to do with them on a day-to-day basis. Well, we don't have to imagine for much longer because this is actually becoming a reality. The ability of artificial intelligence to integrate data from diverse sources, curated data, if you wish, to counter the misinformation that farmers are encountering in the social media. The ability of artificial intelligence programs to integrate information is phenomenally powerful. So to tell us a little bit about the work that he's doing, please welcome Chris Janssen, who I've had the pleasure of working with on farmer training using new technology. But he's one of the pioneers currently operating, looking at farmer advisory services in Africa. So welcome, Chris, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Christie, thank you so much for the warm introduction and setting the tone for our talk today. It's been a pleasure working with you on previous projects, and I'm excited what the future holds. Today, we're going to be talking about unlocking the power of AI, transforming advisory services in frontier markets. But before we dive in, who am I? My name is Chris Janssen. I am a Canadian currently living with my family here in rural Denmark. Over the last 10 years, I have lived in and around East Africa, primarily Kenya. I am a social entrepreneur and small-scale farmer here in Denmark. Over the last decade, I founded 2 social enterprises, and more recently, eLengo Academy, which created online agribusiness courses with experts across East Africa and delivered it to small-scale farmers. So over the last few years, we've had about 40,000 students and delivered these courses to about a dozen different countries. I, of course, have a passion for agriculture, sustainability, and supporting youth entrepreneurship in sub-Saharan Africa. And over the last year or so, I've really been focused on applying AI, digital learning, and growth marketing to create a scalable social impact. Now, many of you used or heard about ChatGPT, which has been launched about a year ago and really had some rapid growth. So first off, what is ChatGPT? So ChatGPT, it's a large language model. It's a computer program that can understand and generate human-like text, making it capable of having conversations with people in many different languages. It's trained on a vast amount of information to help it respond to a range of topics just like a human would. And there's a lot of other organizations out there that are launching their own large language models. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all the big players out there are doing that. But really, ChatGPT, which was owned by OpenAI, was one of the ones that was the first to mass market. So what is my journey utilizing ChatGPT and some of these other LLMs over the last year? So first off, when ChatGPT was launched about a year ago, I started to utilize it in my work. I would often have a separate screen open throughout the day. It would help me with research, copywriting, strategy, data analysis, you name it. I'd almost have it as a co-pilot, and it would really start to increase both the quality and quantity of my work. I would also use it in my personal life. I'd ask for recipes, meal plans for the week, creative ideas to do with my kids. You name it. I would no longer be using Google search. I would just be communicating with this chat and getting answers in more of kind of a clear, concise, and quicker way. I was also starting to use ChatGPT in the spring on my farm. I would start asking several questions about my bees or the different fruits and vegetables that I had on my farm and at the different stages. In the past, I would search on Google, watch YouTube videos, look on social media, and it would just be a mess of advice. But now I was starting to really get kind of quick, concise, and responses that I can start to utilize. But by utilizing these large language models, I was starting to discover some limitations. First off, and especially with the small scale farming example, the knowledge was very general and not really localized to my region. I found the conversation was almost the conversation memory was limited at times, and it was often lost amongst all those other chats I had going on throughout the day. And sometimes it actually hallucinates, especially when working with numbers. And this happened a lot in the early days. A lot of the problems have been solved now, but at times you can still run into some issues. So, what were some solutions to those problems, and what are possibilities ahead? So, first off, if you improve the prompt with detailed information, you can get precise and local advice. So, using my small scale farm example, if I would say, I'm a beginner beekeeper with 2 hives in agriculture zone 7B, here is my question. That answer I got was much more precise and better for me. I found that if you start to build on past interactions and conversation, the memory starts to grow and you have more enhanced accuracy with the conversations as well. So instead of starting a new conversation, you'd continue with the old one. And of course, memory grew over the years within ChatGPT. So you were able to have some of this memory stored. And then this final point is really where the possibilities start to open up. You can start to use the developer platform that OpenAI has, so you can start to develop your own applications where you can have your own memory bank that the large language model communicates with, so you can access tailored advice that you can provide to that end user. And I'll give some more examples of that as we continue, but really that's where a lot of the opportunities start to come. So let's break down in a very simple way how you can make an AI-powered advisor. So now, like I mentioned, you can create custom applications using these advanced LLMs out there like ChatGPT and using their developer platforms. So first, you want to set the context. You want to input a detailed prompt, a user profile, past interactions in the memory, maybe records that user has. The user is then going to have the inquiry. They're going to ask a question in a simple interface. So you can do a web app with chat, but of course there's opportunities for SMS, WhatsApp, email, you name it. Especially as we continue, more opportunities will grow. The next step is the data analysis. So it's going to take that question and the context and cross-reference that with and query the large data set that you have for accurate response matching. And then the response is going to be generated. It's going to deliver precise, context-aware answer in that user's language. And over the next year, and even now, there's visual and audio responses and capabilities coming. So let's take that and put that into a chicken farm advisor, which is what eLengo and Sidai are working together on at the moment. So in early 2024, we're going to launch a new version of this chicken expert to thousands of students and just start to generate feedback to see how they use it. So here's the simplified process. So the setup, we're going to have it act as an agriculture extension officer with an expertise in poultry farming. We want to give friendly advice to this beginner farmer with 50 Sasso chickens in zone 4, use past interactions, and have a friendly, simple Swahili dialogue. So of course, we're probably going to have more data and information in that setup, but there is a simplified setup. Then the inquiry happens. The user is going to ask, why are my chickens not laying eggs? And right now we're going to do this through a web application. Then the analysis is going to happen. It's going to refer to the poultry database, which includes local expert knowledge and previous conversations to contextualize their response. So we have all of these information on our courses, beautiful research papers about poultry farming in sub-Saharan Africa, and we want to as well capture local advice through conversations with extension officers in different regions to layer that in the memory as well. And then it's going to provide the answer. It's going to be, a straightforward prompt solution, and it's going to keep that conversation open to continue. And of course, we're going to train it to ask clarifying questions if it doesn't quite understand what the question was to begin with. So that is just one example of creating kind of an AI-powered advisor. But there's really so many other opportunities out there when you start to utilize large language models. And the big thing is, when you have rich data sets, there is a world of possibilities. So here's some examples. Data interaction. You can utilize LLMs to analyze and collaborate directly with your data for better insights, both internally and for partners. So for example, you have a research study, and you can start to now communicate directly with that using natural language to get further insights, advice on further research, and maybe how to practically use this information to make an impact or make a difference. Predictive analysis, so you can train a model to know likely outcomes based on past data and information. So of course, this has been around for many years, but once you start to layer on natural language and the large language models, you can start to interact with that data in much better ways and pull many more insights. And then data collection. You can accumulate information directly from farmers with these conversations to update the database and pinpoint areas for future research. So those are just a few examples here, but that is just the beginning. There's probably a dozen or more use cases that I could think through about how you can really start to put this wonderful data into practice. So we're going to end here with this quote. The future is happening now, and the opportunity to make a scalable social impact has never been greater. Thank you so much for listening to my quick talk today. If you're interested in exploring partnership opportunities, seeking advice on what is possible for your organization, or wish to support our project, please reach out. My email is below, chris@elengo.co. WhatsApp number there if you want to have more of an informal conversation. And then there's Christie email as well. Thank you so much, and I'm excited to continue the conversation. Take care.